Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Hello and welcome back to the channel where you join me today as part of my Where's Shmee Euro tour. I'm in Kempten, Germany, visiting Abt to take a look at their new RS4 Plus. Now the weather today is doing all sorts of crazy things. It's currently very blue, but there's a dark cloud coming. But what we're going to be doing is exploring this, discovering what it's all about. So it's based, of course, on Audi's incredibly capable estate car, the RS4. But where that car ticks so many boxes, it misses out on just a small touch of spark, which is exactly what Abt are hoping they've injected back into the package, of which it's limited to just 50 units. So we're going to be exploring the modifications that they've made, the aerodynamic and cosmetic changes, experiencing the power, taking it out for a test drive, hearing the new exhaust system. Hopefully we'll have an opportunity to go down the German Autobahns as well. So let's get started then and crack on taking a look at Abt's new RS4 Plus. In the sunshine at the moment, this car is looking very, very good indeed. The bright red of the paintwork contrasting against all of the carbon fibre options that have been added to the exterior. And it's also actually sitting alongside its big brother, the RS6 Plus, right in front of the showroom here under the offices at Abt's HQ. But like I said, those clouds in that direction do not look particularly friendly. So let's crack on with a walk around to introduce all of the changes that they've made. Those start with the carbon fibre exterior add-ons that you can see, but it also has new 21-inch wheels, lowering springs. The car is sitting a touch lower. Underneath, you've got a new exhaust system that we're going to be hearing very shortly. They've also made changes to the interior, and you can get the car with a number of different options actually. So the RS4 Plus package gives you this whole overall kit, onto which you can add even more. So you can take the power even higher, add the even larger wheels, and add a few exterior options as well. So to start talking about the exterior, before we get onto the power numbers and upgrades that have been done, there are many different pieces of carbon fibre. For example, the single frame grille all around, the Audi rings and the Abt logo finished in black as well. You've got more carbon fibre down here at the lower sections, so the splitter, these add-ons around the intakes, also those little flicks down just in front of the wheels. But what this car does is add a touch more in terms of dynamic appearance to a car that normally is quite subtle. It doesn't scream or shout, "Hey, look at me," but this gives it a bit more of the presence that I think goes along with the performance that it offers. Of course, being the RS4, it's an all-wheel drive system, Audi's four-wheel drive. In this case, we've got the 21-inch wheels housing the Audi ceramic brakes just inside, and as I said, sitting a little bit lower as well. You've also got those flares out there just on the back of the fenders, the carbon fibre side skirt, carbon mirror caps. If I come round towards the rear, you've got the spoiler up here on the top of the rear window. Again, the blacked out Audi logos, the Audi logo badge worn there, and down towards the back, more carbon fibre for the diffuser, and also the exhaust tailpipes that we're going to be hearing very shortly. Now, of course, this car has up front the 2.9 litre twin turbocharged V6. In the standard configuration, you're looking at 450 horsepower and 600 Newton meters. In the RS4 Plus's base package, that goes up from 450 to 510. If you then take the Power S upgrade, you get all the way to 530, 80 horsepower extra. The torque starts at 600, in the base package goes to 680. In the full S package, you can take it up to 690, 90 Newton meters extra, which makes this a pretty quick car with a top speed of 280 kilometers per hour. Now let me come through to show you the interior as well, show you some of the changes in here. To be honest, a very nice interior to begin with in terms of the materials that are used and the trims that you get. But in here, the full carbon around the steering wheel, very, very nice. This carbon piece here that Abt have created for the seat controls, again, a very nice touch. Lots and lots of Abt logos, the embroidery on the headrest, which I always find quite fun, and the 1 of 50 plaque you can spot over to the passenger side of the dashboard. But let me just, I think, take a step inside RS4 Plus floor mats. To start it up, of course, we've got the digital cockpit display, the Abt start-stop button here. Just take a listen to the noise of this V6 coming into life. It's not bad. Of course, you then immediately heard the valve, the flap changing there, but the initial startup noise is quite fruity and exciting. I'm not sure what the car's letting me know of right now, but I won't worry too much about that. I think I'm quite excited to take it for a drive and see what it's like, because I've driven the series RS4, and while it is fantastic, it doesn't make you go, this thing is amazing, and that's what I want to see how this compares. So let me plug in my cameras, we'll head straight on out and go see what it's like. The sun is just disappearing behind the next cloud, so let's head on straight away. Of course, we've got the automatic gearbox in here. It's a car that, if you drive it gently, is very smooth, very easy, no stress in the world. I'm going to pop drive select into the normal auto mode as opposed to dynamic, just to get started, and head on out. I think we've got a little bit of traffic to have to navigate just to get away out to some roads where we can enjoy it a little bit more. But this is the thing, it just drives gently, quietly, calmly, and in this state and setup, the doors locking there, it's like a normal RS4. And that's what I quite like about the work that Abt do, is it's not over the top or dramatic. They're small upgrades, performance upgrades that enhance the dynamic capabilities of the car. And we're being allowed to head on out, fortunately. And, well, like I say, a little bit of traffic, but as soon as I get through this, I'll be able to experience more of what it's like, and I can see some raindrops actually falling on the windscreen now, so I'm very lucky that I did actually depart at the time that I did. But I think you have everything like stop-start. I can actually see I've got a G meter for the G-forces on the display as well at the moment. The navigation and infotainment all works very well. Of course, in terms of positioning, the RS4 is beneath the outgoing RS6. It's finished now. That will hopefully be a new model not too far from now, but above, let's say, the RS3 Sportback. The RS4 has loads of room behind, great for the family, taking a pet in the boot, a dog in the boot, or, you know, your luggage on a big road trip or anything like that. It's a fairly compact size. It's not the biggest car in the world, which means it's easy to drive and navigate and take around the city and park and all of those kind of features. It has cameras. If I just bring this up, all the different cameras in different directions you can look and bring up, and even see the bird's eye view nice and easily, and everything technology wise that you would kind of really want from this generation of car. It launched a couple of years ago. There was perhaps some discussion about it having the V6 as opposed to a V8 or a bigger engine, and I think although they incorporated some sporty design features from Audi's past, there were perhaps some missed opportunities in terms of making the car more of a dynamic experience, and that's what I'm hoping this is going to be. So I'll just get through this then and hopefully rejoin you in a nice on a nice country road. Now then, let me pop it back into dynamic. So with Audi Drive Select, you have a few different modes. You can actually have it in individual. I also would like to have it into manual, so gear shifter to the right, let's use the paddle shifts. Listen to those burbles, that's cool. Now to get a feel of the power, yep, there's plenty of it. That traditional Audi sound with those almost burpee-like upshifts, but very, very quick shifts, that's for sure. The suspension and stability of the car actually feels pretty good. Of course, it's got the new springs. It also has a new anti-roll bar from Abt as well, a sport anti-roll bar. And initially, it feels very, very flat for the kind of car. And you have to remember, it's not exactly a lightweight car. It's a big, fairly long, fairly heavy machine overall. But these noises, it sounds pretty good. Instant get up and go. Not going 100% at the moment, just getting a feel for it while we warm into this. Squeeze past the tractor, but this is actually the other thing that's really good about it. The car feels small and nimble on the roads. It's not in any way a substantially large or daunting proposition to drive. And I can tell you, for A to B, not that much goes quicker than a four-wheel drive Audi whatever it is, whether it's a TTRS or an RS3 or an RS4. And then when you give it a little bit more power, or 80 horsepower more, which is fairly substantial, you can feel 80 horsepower quite a lot, plus 90 Newton meters, it's definitely going to be a very, very quick car and quite an enjoyable car to drive. Now, like normal, the steering feels a little bit disconnected. Nothing to do with Abt on that front at all, just something to do with the way the drive is of an Audi. You've got the extra weight up front with the four-wheel drive system, and then you've also got the electronic steering that the car has. But cruising down here, wafting down this road, which is one I love to come and film on each time I'm here with an Abt vehicle, to come and test and just enjoy in a countryside type environment. You have the traffic jams and all that side of things to get out here, and then cruising here you can go up to 8th gear and it's very, very, very quiet, very quiet. And then I'm going to swing around again and come back the other way and maybe see if I can just try and use some more of the acceleration. I seem to be doing a pretty good job at the moment of only finding the sunshine, but let me come to a standstill. I'm going to pop the car back into automatic, not a launch control, but just a feel of the acceleration. Foot down, foot to the floor, there we go, finds the traction, shifts up at the red line, and yes, It builds speed very, very quickly. That's the beauty of this setup that Audi have. It just gets moving immensely efficiently. Despite the weight, the combination of gearbox, computers, all-wheel drive, all systems do a wonderful job of that. Then pop it back into manual, and you're back to the popping and burbling. You know what? I actually think it could be a touch louder. I actually think the car could get away with being a touch louder than it actually is. It certainly drives here pretty decently, all things considered. Yeah, okay, it's no supercar, it's not trying to be, it's not quite as dynamic as an R8, for example. This is actually really good. It gives it a decent amount of excitement, and that's what I think the car needed. That's what I generally tend to find with Abt. They have this really good balance of not going too far, not going too crazy, just giving it a small touch to make it a little bit more personal, a little bit more both special, but also higher performing. Not bad. Right, let's go find an Autobahn and hope it's not grey and gloomy. The kind of fun thing about this is it's still a family estate car, but it's one that does 0 to 100 kilometers per hour or 62 miles per hour in just 3.9 seconds, under 4 seconds. Here we go then, out onto, I love those shift lights you get in the Audi, out onto the Autobahn. Unfortunately, I can't cross the lanes here, so just wait for this car to come through, then I can put my foot down, de-restricted Autobahn, off we go, foot is down. 160, 170, 180, 190. I've got a head-up display which helps a lot. 200, 210, 220, 230, 240. I'm going to do maybe 250 kilometers per hour down here. Yeah, 250, 260, 270. And I'm going to go on the brakes as we've got some cars. 273 I saw there. That's just a remarkable pickup of speed for this kind of car. That was really quick, straight on the Autobahn, straight foot flat, just with ease. Yeah, I mean, I wasn't expecting it to be quite so open, to be honest. I got quite lucky there, just to be able to experience it. And the way it shifts between gears, it's very much a car for this environment, because it doesn't thump in a gear and leave you uncomfortable. It just moves on up, shifts between, keeps going. It's a great view in the distance actually now, with some blue sky above me. It's crazy what the weather does around here. I'm led to believe it's quite normal for the area, but drop some gears again. The shift lights will do their illumination thing, going green, then a couple of stages of yellow, and the whole dashboard flashes red for a few times before it's time to shift. But even just blasting along at 200, yeah, there's some wind noise I can hear from the shape of the mirrors, but it's not particularly noisy. Into 7th gear and then the engine noise is muted significantly. Steering definitely weightens up. I can feel some more weight from the car as we're flying through the corner here. 210 through a corner. You have to remember that's pretty quick. That's 135 miles per hour or thereabouts. Car in front saw us coming. That's a benefit of the Audi front headlights. They give this menacing presence, which means that people do tend to see you coming. But you could definitely, happily go about long journeys in this, but you do notice it is slightly less in terms of its offering than I would say the RS6 Plus. That's fairly obvious, but now I'm able to experience the difference and experience that it is slightly less premium. It offers slightly less in terms of sound dampening and comfort feel at high speed, but overall, I mean, who can really complain? I'm actually really impressed with the speed, the rate at which it built up that speed. The weather is so crazy. It's clearly been raining where I am now. There's a car coming past us nice and quickly as well. Always have to watch out for that. Yeah, that was cool. Another Audi as well. So, end the solid line, off we go. But this is where you can accelerate hard, because the 4-wheel drive system just handles it all. No drama, no stress. I'm not going to go for a VMAX run until the ground is dry again, but it picks up speed very, very easily, and it's very comfortable when you get there. And it's drying out already actually, but I often experience this. You get, cars do this in different ways, right? But it's an RS4, it's based on an A4, it's not a completely top of the range model, yet it does these kind of speeds so easily and comfortably that you don't necessarily expect it from this kind of car. Just for a bit of fun then, 4th gear at 120, foot down, 130, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, we're at 200 already. quick on the move acceleration and comfortably just cruising on through. The head-up display is very nice as well, currently cruising at 220, but it tells me it's de-restricted. The automatic recognition of the speed limits has been accurate most of the time. I had it once where it was telling me I was going 100 in a 50 zone, where in fact it was 100 zone. But just heading on back to Abt, cruising away, back towards now where the storm clouds appear to be above me. But let me actually, let's turn this back and engage a more comfortable driving style. Let's go into comfort here on the drive select. Just relax, the steering gets lighter as well when you're in comfort. There's a bit more play, wiggle room, while the car still retains obviously its track. Not bad, eh? Not bad at all. You have all the other things like the blind spot monitoring, the bright orange light that goes on your door mirror to let you know somebody's coming past. I think Audis do a good job of just making everything work really well. So the base car for this is already a strong platform to begin with. Then Abt do their magic, and it makes it even better to actually drive. And I do feel like it is an improvement in terms of the drive, which is obviously quite important. I think it's just under 30,000 euros or so, but I'll show you the package options and prices in a second when we come to a rest. In fact, even in comfort mode, it's still a nice driving experience. And we actually come through a little tunnel here, so let's pop it into dynamic, pop down the window, go into neutral that way. That sounds alright, back into gear. Sounds okay, it sounds okay. So we're arriving back here. Looks like that big rain cloud has actually passed. I've managed to dodge a bullet, and I'm not going to have to experience any horrendous weather after all. So what I'll do is I'll park back up, show you a few other things that they've changed as well as about the car, show you some of the prices of the options as well, and kind of wrap things up with some final thoughts. Alright then, back at base, clearly the engine is now very warm, so let's take a listen to what it sounds like to rev the car from the outside so that you can hear some of the new exhaust system. Let me just open up the door so that I can point you guys around. You can take a little listen to this. You can clearly hear the valves at work there, opening and getting significantly louder when you're higher up the rev range or pressing the throttle a little bit harder, but still it's a V6, it's not a throaty V8 like for example you would find in the RS6 Plus. I'm not necessarily opposed to V6s. I think on the move the engine sounded very good, and the burbles when you're downshifting for example sound really nice as well. So what else do we have in here to show you then? So I've in many of my videos before featured the different setups and infotainment that you have inside the Audi system. The dashboard, the virtual cockpit, you can change the display of it. This is the normal go-to setup with the large rev counter in the center, but it's a full digital display and screen, a few controls on the steering wheel. Speaking of the steering wheel, it is really nice with the carbon fiber bits at the top and the flat bottom as well. And then from Abt you have the new shift knob as well with the carbon fiber up here, more carbon trim. I'm a big carbon fan, as many of you will know, so I particularly enjoy all of this. And then the 1 of 50 plaque that you have for the RS4 Plus here too. The navigation system, if I just take that back to home, it is kind of previous generation as opposed to the new gen that's coming into the different Audi models. It does the job, but it's not particularly special at the moment or anything really to write home about. What else do we have? Well, I'll just actually shut the engine off for a moment. Hear the valves closing as well. You have this screen for the air conditioning and the climate control. Then just to take a step outside, and it is quite windy here, so please excuse me for that. I'll show you in the rear. Back here, similar fit and finish to the front. You've got the full carbon back of the seats, which is really, really cool actually. That's stunning. That's a work of art. That's a really nice piece from Abt. And then the similar factory quilting in the center of the backrest and the seats. If I come around, and actually just before I do, this is where you can see, you know, the RS4, those slightly wider arches, the bulk and aggression of it, this styling that you have, the cues from the old IMSA cars. And if I come around to this side, what I want to show you here is this information sheet about the RS4 options, so that you can see everything that is spec'd on this car, all of the details. Those are all the things that are included in the package price of the RS4 Plus. 28,900 euros. And then down at the bottom, the optional extra equipment with the Power S upgrade, which is what we have for this car, the 530 horsepower and 690 newton meters, and the 21-inch wheels, as well as a few other bits and pieces as well. that you can see on that. So that's the price list and things that are going on for the car. Overall, an impressive drive when you consider the price point of the car itself. I think Abt have done a good job of injecting that spark that I was hoping for and looking for in the RS4. Certainly can't complain about that. Still some things I think are lacking slightly, but that's down to the series model on which it's based, the things like the steering, and it's difficult to get even more sound or tone and character out of it. But I think when you look at this, it's supposed to be that discreet family wagon, you know, with all your luggage in the boot, and there's a lot of room for luggage back here in the boot as well. Power fold, loaded with nice tech, lots of space, lots of comfort. The whole family will ride in here exactly as required, and for those boxes it ticks it perfectly. What this package does is make it a more exciting proposition to take out and enjoy for a nice drive or day out as well on the good weather days, we could say. So I've definitely enjoyed today, getting to experience just over 270 kilometers an hour on the German Autobahns in the Abt RS4 Plus, driving a special 1 of 50 car, being able to show you all around it. So I hope you've enjoyed this little guided tour, run through experience with me and the RS4 Plus. So thank you very much for watching. As always, guys, that's it for this time, and I'll see you again very soon. Cheers.